Commander Alina Reyes stared at the flickering console in front of her, the hum of the Aegis engines vibrating through the hull. For months, their mission had been routine, surveying outer rim systems for potential human colonies. Yet tonight, something felt different. The latest data transmission from one of the newer settlements, Typhon 7, had come through in fragments, distorted and incomplete. At first, the crew thought it was just a weak signal from a distant colony. But when Alina adjusted the decryption matrix, the message revealed something horrifying. It was not the usual status report or mundane logistics. It was a distress signal, full of panic and urgency. The words repeated themselves in bursts. Children taken, enslaved, help, Typhon 7. The transmission ended abruptly, leaving a silence that weighed heavily over the bridge. No one spoke immediately. Even the chatter of the communications officer seemed to vanish into the thick tension. Alina felt a tight knot in her stomach. She had seen emergencies before, meteor storms, system failures, alien wildlife incidents. But this was different. This was human children in danger, taken by unknown forces. Humanity had ventured far into the galaxy, but they had never encountered anything like this. The thought of helpless children, her own people, being enslaved by alien hands, ignited a fire inside her she could not ignore. "We have to act," she said finally, her voice calm but resolute. "Plot a course to Typhon 7. We're going to find out what happened, and we're going to save them if we can." The navigation officer, Lieutenant Harris, keyed in the coordinates while the engineering team ran diagnostics on the Aegis hyperdrive systems. In the weeks since leaving Earth, the ship had become a well-oiled machine, a small but formidable human vessel capable of long-range missions. Its design was simple, efficient, and adapted to human ingenuity. As the ship leapt into hyperspace, Alina gathered her senior officers in the planning room. The holographic display of Typhon 7 hovered before them, showing a small colony orbiting a yellow sun at the edge of explored space. It had been intended as a quiet, self-sustaining settlement, a place where families could live peacefully away from the bustling core worlds. Now it was silent. Doctor Malik, the ship's chief scientist, frowned. "Commander, the transmission suggests the colony was overwhelmed quickly. Whoever, or whatever, took the children acted with precision. This wasn't random. They knew exactly what they were doing. Humanity doesn't give up, and neither will I." Its main habitat domes had been destroyed, leaving twisted metal and scorched earth floating against the blackness of space. The energy shields that once protected the colony were offline, and the docking bays were eerily empty. Alina felt a chill as she stared at the devastation. "This is worse than I thought," muttered Lieutenant Harris. "Entire colony, gone." "Not gone, taken. Look at these patterns. They weren't random. The signs show careful extraction." "That's deep in uncharted space. Whoever did this doesn't want to be found easily." The crew collected what they could, storing samples for analysis. Each discovery, each small piece of evidence, fueled their determination. Late into the human night cycle, Alina convened a strategy session. The crew had trained for combat, exploration, and negotiation, but nothing could have prepared them for the task ahead. They were now on a mission to confront a hostile alien force, one that had dared to enslave human children. "We are facing unknown enemies in unfamiliar territory," Alina said, her voice steady, filled with the kind of resolve that had inspired her crew for years. "But we are human. We adapt, we endure, and we protect our own. This mission is dangerous, yes, but we will not fail." "Not while I breathe." As the Aegis entered the uncharted Xynora sector, the crew encountered the first signs of alien presence. Strange vessels, unlike anything catalogued in human records, flitted between asteroids and space debris. They moved with efficiency, yet with a precision that suggested familiarity with the region. Sensors picked up faint energy emissions, possibly from life support systems or experimental chambers. Dr. Malik studied the readings. "Commander, these systems are advanced, far beyond what we've seen. Whoever controls them has technology that rivals any major human power. We must proceed cautiously. A covert approach might allow them to gather intelligence and rescue as many children as possible. Humanity had the advantage of creativity, improvisation, and unpredictability. That might be enough. We go in covert," Alina decided. "We study, we plan, and we strike only when we know we can succeed. Our goal is to save as many as we can. That is all that matters." Every system was checked, every weapon calibrated, every sensor tuned. The children's lives depended on their success. As the ship crept toward the source of the alien signals, Alina took a moment to look at the stars beyond the viewport. Each light represented a world, a life, a possibility. Humanity had traveled far, yet this mission reminded her that the journey was never truly about distance. It was about who humans were at their core. Hours later, the Aegis approached the outer perimeter of what appeared to be a massive orbital facility. It was unlike anything humans had built. The station's surface shimmered with energy shields, and small craft patrolled the surrounding space. Alien inscriptions and unknown symbols marked the structure, hinting at a civilization both sophisticated and ruthless. Alina activated the ship's cloaking protocols. "We are invisible for now," she said. "I want visual confirmation before we make any moves. We cannot afford mistakes." Ensign Vieira's voice was tense. "Commander, there are multiple life signs, small ones, could be children." Humanity had found its children enslaved, and the galaxy was about to witness the response of a species that refused to bow, refused to hide, and refused to abandon its own. For the first time in her career, Alina felt the full weight of her responsibility, not just as a commander of a starship, but as a guardian of human life. The Aegis and her crew were now more than explorers. They were rescuers, strategists, and warriors in a fight for the very soul of humanity. As the stars stretched into streaks of light against the black void of space, Alina made a silent promise. Humanity would not fail. The children of Typhon 7 and every human anywhere in the galaxy would be brought home. And the universe would remember the moment when humans chose to fight, not for conquest, not for power, but for one another. The engines hummed, the shields glimmered. The Aegis edged closer to the enemy's stronghold, a symbol of human determination ready to shine in the darkness. Alina's eyes narrowed. "Prepare for reconnaissance," she said, "and remember every move counts. Humanity is watching, and we will not be defeated." The aliens controlling the station were highly organized, efficient, and technologically advanced. Yet the signals they emitted were not chaotic. They suggested a hierarchy, a chain of command, and a strict discipline. Dr. Malik studied the readings on the console, his brow furrowed. "Commander, these life signs, they're numerous. Small human forms, likely the children from Typhon 7. They're confined within energy-protected chambers. Standard human technology cannot bypass these shields. Any direct approach will trigger alarms." They were far from Earth, operating alone in hostile space against forces whose motives and strength were largely unknown. Yet the drive to protect human life, especially children, gave them clarity. Fear had no place on the bridge of the Aegis, only determination. Ensign Vieira interrupted the quiet. "Commander, I've been analyzing the patrol patterns. There's a small window every 37 minutes where the perimeter drones enter a maintenance cycle. If we time it right, we might approach the facility without detection. We are here to save lives, not to become another statistic." Fear had quickly turned into determination. Humanity had always survived by coming together in times of crisis, and this was no different. Admiral Kane, commanding the fleet from Earth's orbital station, issued a transmission that rippled through every human ship in the sector. "The children of humanity are under attack. They are ours. They are human, and they will be returned. Mobilize. Coordinate, and let the galaxy know that humanity protects its own." It was not easy, but it was necessary. Back on the Aegis, Alina and her team began preparing for the first approach. They reviewed alien technology captured from previous encounters and combined it with human engineering. Dr. Malik proposed modifications to the ship's cloaking and propulsion systems, making it nearly invisible to energy scans and able to navigate without leaving detectable traces. Humanity had always been clever, often turning disadvantages into opportunities, and these modifications reflected that skill. "This ship will be our advantage," Alina said, inspecting the modified systems. "The aliens rely on routine, structure, and predictable patterns. We rely on unpredictability, courage, and ingenuity. We are human. That is our greatest weapon." Yet the presence of danger did not weaken their resolve. It strengthened it. Each human aboard the Aegis understood that the mission was not just about survival. It was about proving that humanity would not be enslaved, exploited, or intimidated. Hours later, Alina convened another strategy meeting. The holographic display projected the orbital facility in full, highlighting patrol drones, energy shields, and entry points. The complexity of the station was overwhelming, yet humanity had never been intimidated by complexity. "Dr. Malik," Alina said, How many children do we estimate are inside? Based on the life sign scans and the population data from Typhon 7, there are likely over 300. Small numbers, yes, but every life is precious. We cannot fail. Harris, you and the engineering crew will be ready to disable shields and override any security protocols. Malik, you will handle environmental analysis and ensure the chambers can be opened safely. Humanity thrived in situations where rigid rules governed others. Their creativity, adaptability, and emotional bonds were advantages no alien could replicate. As the Aegis drew closer to the orbital station, the crew noticed subtle details they had not seen before. Small vessels moving silently between satellites, energy spikes suggesting internal movement, and irregular patrol patterns that hinted at alien fatigue or complacency. Humanity's analysts began to see opportunities, patterns in the patterns, and weaknesses where none seemed to exist. Alina watched from the bridge as the alien station rotated slowly against the backdrop of stars. "This is it," she said softly. "The first step in showing the galaxy that humanity does not bow. We are small compared to these forces, but we are united, and we will act." The perimeter drones entered maintenance mode, and the Aegis edged closer, its hull virtually invisible to alien sensors. Every movement was precise, every action calculated. Humanity's ingenuity was on full display, not through brute force, but through careful, deliberate strategy. Inside the alien facility, the children were confused, frightened, and bewildered. Some clung to one another, whispering questions about where their parents had gone and why they had been taken. Their fear was palpable, but it was not despair. Humans, even young ones, had a remarkable resilience. It was that resilience that the Aegis crew hoped to reach. As the infiltration team prepared to breach the facility, Alina gave one final order. "Remember, we are here to protect, not to punish. We take only what is necessary to save lives. Stay focused. Humanity watches." It was careful work, demanding patience and precision. Every second counted, and yet every action demonstrated the brilliance of human problem-solving. Finally, they reached the containment chambers. Through reinforced glass, the children could be seen huddled together. Their faces lit up with a mix of hope and disbelief when the humans' presence became apparent. Alina's heart ached at their fear, but it also swelled with pride. Humanity had reached them, and they were not alone. Dr. Malik and his team began overriding the alien security protocols. It was delicate work. A wrong calculation could trigger alarms or, worse, harm the children. But the human mind, driven by necessity and care, found solutions where others might have seen only dead ends. Hours passed, tension mounting with every heartbeat. Finally, the doors to the chambers slid open. The children hesitated at first, unsure whether to trust these strangers from the stars. Then slowly they moved toward the humans, their fear giving way to relief and cautious joy. Humanity was saving them. Alina watched as the last child stepped into the Aegis transport module. "Welcome home," she said quietly. "You are safe now. Humanity has come for you." Every child was accounted for, every life precious, every effort meaningful. As the Aegis finally slipped away from the alien station, the crew allowed themselves a brief moment of relief. Humanity had struck its first blow. They had saved the first group of children and sent a message to the galaxy. Humans would not tolerate the enslavement of their own. Alina gathered her officers once more. "This is only the beginning," she said. "We have shown them that humanity is capable, clever, and unyielding. But there are more children, more colonies, and more challenges ahead. We must continue. Humanity protects its own, and we will not stop." Humanity had found its strength, and it was being witnessed in real time by every world that could see it. The alien coalition would soon learn that humans were not easily broken, and that their spirit, resilient, inventive, and courageous, was a force even the most advanced enemies could not ignore. And so the second chapter of the mission began. Humanity was no longer reacting. Humanity was responding. With every plan, every maneuver, every act of bravery, the crew of the Aegis demonstrated what the galaxy had yet to understand. Humans, united by purpose and driven by heart, were a force to be reckoned with. The first strike had succeeded, but the war to save the rest of humanity's children and to prove the indomitable strength of human spirit had only just begun. The stars outside glimmered like countless eyes watching the human race rise to meet the challenge. Commander Alina Reyes stood at the bridge viewport, her gaze fixed on the distant lights. "We have taken the first step," she said softly. "And the galaxy is watching. The Aegis moved silently through the void of the Xynora sector, carrying its precious human cargo and the weight of responsibility on its hull. Commander Alina Reyes had spent hours reviewing every detail of the alien station they had just infiltrated. The children were safe for now, but the mission was far from over. Humanity had struck its first blow, but the alien coalition was vast, organized, and likely preparing to retaliate. Alina gathered her officers on the bridge. The holographic display hovered before them, showing the network of alien orbital stations, patrol routes, and energy corridors. It was a vast web, complex and intimidating. Yet to Alina, it was also a challenge, an opportunity for humanity to show ingenuity where brute force might fail. "We have seen the strength of their technology," she began, "but we have also seen their weakness. They rely on routine, on predictable patterns. They have never faced humans operating under true unpredictability. That is our advantage, and we will use it. Every colony, every facility, every child we can reach will be rescued, and we will make it clear that humanity does not tolerate enslavement of its own." Earth and the colonies had begun sending ships to the outer rim, retrofitted with experimental technology and weapons designed to counter the aliens, advanced shields and defenses. Humanity had always been a species that adapted under pressure, using creativity and determination to overcome overwhelming odds. Now, that ingenuity would be tested on a massive scale. Dr. Malik and his engineering team worked tirelessly, retrofitting transport modules and assault drones with adaptive programming. These machines could mimic alien patrol patterns, disable security grids, and even create temporary diversions, all without risking human lives unnecessarily. The human mind, flexible and inventive, had become a weapon just as powerful as any laser cannon or missile. Vieira monitored the alien fleet's movements, her eyes sharp and focused. "Commander, their patrols are increasing. They have likely realized the first strike was not an accident. They will expect further attacks. But I also notice irregularities. Some vessels move slower, some routines overlap. There is confusion, and that is our window." Confusion is the first step toward opportunity. Harris, prepare the strike teams. Malik, ensure the drones and modules are ready. Vieira, coordinate our sensors and cloaking systems. Every step we take must be precise, but remember, our creativity will be our secret weapon. This time, the mission was no longer stealth alone. It required calculated aggression. Yet Alina refused to send her crew into reckless danger. Every plan relied on the unpredictability of humans themselves, the ability to improvise, to adapt, to act when machines and logic alone could not succeed. The first assault began just as the alien patrols began their scheduled rotations. Cloaking drones moved ahead of the fleet, mimicking alien signatures and creating small diversions. The human ships slipped through energy corridors that the aliens assumed were impassable. Humanity's ingenuity had transformed apparent weaknesses into advantages. Inside the orbital station, the captives were growing restless. Days of confinement and fear had taken their toll, but the children's resilience was remarkable. Even in the harshest conditions, human spirit endured. They whispered encouragement to one another, shared small acts of kindness, and held on to hope, a trait no alien calculation could fully anticipate. The Aegis approached the central docking bay, where the majority of human prisoners were held. Alina's voice was calm but commanding. "All teams execute the plan. We save them all. Remember, we are human. We think, we adapt, we endure, move with purpose." Vieira guided the fleet, tracking patrols and signaling when deviations in alien patterns occurred. Every human on board understood their role, but also understood that improvisation might be required at any moment. The first explosion of controlled energy charges disabled part of the perimeter defenses. Alien drones reacted immediately, moving to intercept, but the fleet had anticipated this. Using decoy signals and sudden changes in trajectory, humans outmaneuvered the drones with speed and precision. The aliens' expectation of order became a disadvantage. Humans thrived in the chaos they themselves could control. Inside the facility, Alina led a small strike team to the holding chambers. The doors were reinforced, but human engineering, combined with alien technology scavenged from previous encounters, proved effective. The locks disengaged and the chambers slid open. Children stumbled forward, uncertain at first, but recognition dawned quickly when human faces appeared. "We are here to bring you home," Alina said gently, kneeling to meet their eyes. "You are safe now. Humanity is with you." Larger vessels approached, weapons charging, scanning for anomalies. But the human fleet did not panic. They relied on maneuvering, improvisation, and carefully timed diversions. Cloaked drones created phantom fleets, and sudden bursts of energy signals drew attention away from the transports carrying human captives. Every tactic demonstrated the HFY principle. Humans adapted to threats that logic alone could not solve. The first wave of rescued children was loaded onto the Aegis. Medical teams administered care, comforted frightened young ones, and prepared them for the journey home. Alina walked among them, speaking softly, offering reassurance and witnessing firsthand the resilience of human life. Even in the darkest moments, hope persisted. The battle outside the station intensified. Laser fire illuminated the void, energy shields flared, and the alien coalition's ships maneuvered to encircle the human fleet. Yet, for every attack, the humans had a counter. Improvised maneuvers, creative energy diversions, and unexpected strikes allowed the fleet to maintain the initiative. The aliens were powerful, but they lacked the unpredictable ingenuity that defined human strategy. Hours passed as the fleet engaged in a delicate dance of offense and evasion. Finally, the last group of children was loaded onto transport modules. The Aegis led the convoy out of the combat zone, moving toward a secure rendezvous point. Humanity had succeeded in its first full-scale strike. Hundreds of lives had been saved, and the aliens had been shown that humans were not easily subdued. Alina addressed the crew from the bridge, her voice filled with pride and determination. Today, humanity has proven what we have always known. Our strength is not only in numbers or technology, but in our spirit, our courage, and our determination to protect our own. We have struck a blow for justice, for freedom, and for the children of humanity. Humanity had shown its strength, but the galaxy was vast, and challenges remained. As the Aegis and the fleet moved toward the safety of human-controlled space, Alina reflected on the lessons of the mission. Humans were not the most technologically advanced species, nor the largest in number. Yet they possessed something the galaxy could not ignore: creativity, adaptability, and an unyielding commitment to protect one another. That commitment, born of empathy, courage, and intelligence, was the force that would carry them through the trials ahead. Dr. Malik approached Alina, holding a data pad filled with analysis from the strike. "Commander, the aliens are already adjusting their tactics. They will be more cautious next time. But they have also learned that humans are unpredictable, and that may work in our favor. We can anticipate some of their movements while retaining the element of surprise. We will continue to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. That is who we are." As the fleet sailed back through the stars, the galaxy began to take notice. Reports of human ingenuity, bravery, and the successful rescue of human captives spread quickly. Aliens who had once underestimated humanity now regarded them with caution and, in some cases, fear. Humans were proving that they were a species to be reckoned with, not only capable of survival, but of extraordinary acts of courage and intelligence. Alina stood at the bridge viewport, looking out at the countless stars. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy is watching, and humanity is showing what it means to protect its own. We will continue. We will adapt. We will endure, and we will never abandon those who need us." Alina knew one thing with certainty. The alien coalition had underestimated humans, and that mistake would cost them. Humanity was clever, resilient, and unstoppable when defending its own. The first strike was only the beginning, and the galaxy would witness the rise of a species that refused to be broken. The calm that followed the first strike was short-lived. News of humanity's successful rescue spread quickly across the galaxy, reaching not just human colonies but the alien coalition as well. The aliens, once confident in their superiority, now faced a species they had underestimated. Anger, confusion, and fear rippled through their command structure. They were powerful, yes, but they were not prepared for humans who could adapt, improvise, and strike with cunning and courage. Commander Alina Reyes watched the reports from the Aegis sensors carefully. The alien fleets were mobilizing, larger and more organized than anything humanity had faced before. Their patrols intensified, and energy emissions indicated new weapons systems being brought online. Humanity's first success had provoked a response. The galaxy's new order was being challenged. "Commander, their fleets are forming near the outer colonies," Lieutenant Harris said. "They're moving fast. We need to act before they hit human settlements. Then we strike where they least expect it. Humanity has survived because we do not fight the way others expect. prepare the fleet. We will defend our colonies and our children. We will show them that human courage cannot be measured in numbers alone. Scientists and engineers worked tirelessly, retrofitting older vessels with improved shields, enhanced weapons, and experimental systems inspired by alien technology captured during the first strike. Humanity had always been resourceful, turning disadvantages into strengths, and this was no different. Dr. Malik analyzed the data. Commander, their new ships are faster, more resilient, and equipped with energy dampeners. But I've also found inconsistencies. Their systems are rigid. They operate in predictable hierarchies. If we can exploit that, we can gain an advantage. Our strength is not just in our weapons. It is in our minds, our ingenuity, and our will. We will adapt faster than they can anticipate. Elena coordinated with other human commanders via secure channels, distributing intelligence and plans with efficiency and clarity. Every ship, every officer understood their role, but every human also knew that improvisation might be necessary. As the fleet approached the first alien stronghold in retaliation, Elena called her officers to the bridge. "This is not just a battle," she said, her voice steady. "It is a message. Humanity does not yield. Humanity does not bow. We will protect our own, and we will fight with every ounce of strength, mind, and courage we possess. Remember, they may be stronger, but we are cleverer, more adaptable, and united. That is our advantage." Every maneuver by the human fleet demonstrated creativity and courage, forcing the alien command to rethink strategy. Inside the alien facility, the human strike teams worked quickly. Their goal was no longer only rescue, it was sabotage. Disabling energy production facilities, communication hubs, and minor weapon systems would give humanity an edge, ensuring the aliens could not retaliate effectively against the colonies. Yet, every move was calculated to minimize unnecessary destruction. Humanity fought for protection, not vengeance. The children aboard the transport modules remained calm, guided by trained human medics and caretakers. They had survived captivity and witnessed human bravery firsthand. Their resilience mirrored the adults, a small but profound reminder of what humanity was capable of. Even in the darkest situations, hope endured, and with it, determination to fight for freedom. As the battle escalated, Elena made a bold decision. "We split the fleet," she said. "Half engage the main forces to draw attention. The other half will strike at the heart of their command station. We move swiftly, we strike decisively, and we adapt at every turn. If the main force fails, the strike team could be isolated." The diversionary force engaged the aliens head-on, drawing their attention with controlled attacks and clever feints. Human pilots used irregular formations, changing patterns unpredictably, forcing alien captains to react constantly. The alien ships, used to structure and routine, were overwhelmed by human creativity. Meanwhile, the strike team moved stealthily toward the central command station. Cloaked and guided by Elena's calculations, they bypassed patrols, neutralized automated defenses, and hacked into energy grids. Humanity's understanding of alien technology, combined with their adaptive problem-solving, allowed them to operate where brute force alone would have failed. Inside the command station, humans found records of experiments conducted on human captives. Children had been studied, analyzed, and categorized to understand adaptability and resilience. The aliens, in their arrogance, had assumed human emotion and ingenuity were weaknesses. Humanity was about to prove them wrong. The strike team released prisoners and sabotaged key systems. Communications were jammed temporarily, shields weakened, and energy outputs rerouted. Every action was designed to protect human life and hinder alien retaliation. Even in a hostile environment, humanity's combination of intelligence, strategy, and moral clarity gave them an edge. Outside, the fleet adapted continuously. Every attack by the aliens was countered by unpredictable maneuvers, improvised tactics, and inventive use of available technology. Humanity thrived in chaos, where rigid structures failed. Every human vessel acted as part of a larger system, yet retained autonomy to respond to unexpected threats. This balance of coordination and improvisation defined the HFY spirit. As the battle reached its climax, the alien fleet attempted a concentrated assault on the diversionary force. Human ships executed complex evasive patterns, drawing enemy fire away from the strike team. The combination of courage, quick thinking, and relentless determination allowed the strike team to complete its mission and retreat safely. Alina monitored the operation closely, heart pounding but mind sharp. Humanity had demonstrated what it meant to fight with intelligence, creativity, and unwavering resolve. The rescued children, the liberated prisoners, and the damaged alien systems all testified to human ingenuity. Finally, as the alien fleets retreated and regrouped, the human forces consolidated. The battle was over for now, but the victory was clear. Humanity had not only protected its own, but had proven that even against a technologically superior enemy, courage, adaptability, and unity could prevail. On the bridge of the Aegis, Alina addressed her crew. "Today, we have done more than fight. We have shown the galaxy who we are. We protect our children, our colonies, our people. We adapt, we endure, and we triumph when it matters most. Humanity is not easily defeated, and we will continue to prove that with every action, every mission, and every life we save." Humanity had responded to aggression not with blind force alone, but with strategy, innovation, and compassion. Dr. Malik approached Alina, his face a mixture of pride and awe. "Commander, the aliens underestimated us. They thought emotion and creativity were weaknesses. They were wrong. Humanity adapts, and that cannot be measured. But the fight is not over. There are still more colonies, more captives, and more challenges ahead. We will continue to rise, adapt, and protect. That is what it means to be human." Aliens who had once dismissed humanity now approached with caution. Humans were demonstrating a combination of intelligence, creativity, and courage that no enemy could ignore. The children, now safe and recovering, were the living testament to humanity's spirit. They had survived captivity and witnessed firsthand the courage and ingenuity of their species. Their smiles, cautious but genuine, reminded every human aboard the fleet why the mission mattered. Every effort, every risk, and every innovation had been for them. Alina stood at the bridge viewport, gazing at the stars. "This is not just a victory, it is a message. Humanity will defend its own. We will adapt, endure, and protect. And the galaxy will remember what we have done here." Alina knew one thing for certain. The alien coalition had underestimated humanity, and that mistake would be their undoing. The war was far from over, but the galaxy had already witnessed the rise of a species that refused to bow, refused to submit, and refused to abandon its own. And as the human fleet sailed onward, carrying hope, courage, and ingenuity across the void, the galaxy would watch humanity continue to rise, adapt, and fight, not for conquest, but for freedom, justice, and the protection of all that was human. The human fleet moved steadily toward the heart of the alien coalition's territory. The success of the previous missions had sent shockwaves across the galaxy, but the ultimate challenge awaited. At the center of the alien network lay the command station, a massive orbital fortress bristling with weapons, shields, and patrol fleets. Every alien leader expected humans to retreat after the losses they had already suffered. They did not know humanity. Commander Alina Reyes stood on the bridge of the Aegis, staring at the holographic projection of the alien command station. The scale of the structure was staggering, but it only strengthened her resolve. Every calculation, every observation, every lesson from the previous strikes led to this moment. Humanity had come not to negotiate, not to plead, but to rescue its own and to demonstrate the strength of its spirit. "Commander, we are approaching the outer defense perimeter," Lieutenant Harris reported. "Enemy patrols are heavier than we've faced before, but their patterns are predictable. They expect us to act cautiously, but they don't know we are capable of unpredictability." Engineers double-checked systems, medics prepared for possible injuries, and communications officers synchronized channels for seamless coordination. Every human knew the stakes. Hundreds of children, still recovering from captivity, were counting on them. Every colony, every settlement was a reason to succeed. Failure was not an option. Dr. Malik approached Alina with a data pad in hand. "Commander, the station's shield matrix is complex but not impervious. If we target specific nodes simultaneously, we can create temporary gaps. This will allow our strike teams to enter and rescue the captives without engaging the entire station at once. Every ship has a role, every move counts. We are human, that is our greatest advantage." Their movements were unpredictable, their strategy flexible, and their resolve unwavering. As the strike teams prepared to deploy, Alina addressed them personally. "You are about to enter the heart of enemy territory. You will face danger, uncertainty, and intelligence beyond what we've encountered. But remember, we are humans. we adapt, we endure, we protect. Move with courage, act with clarity, and bring our people home. Locks disengaged, doors opened, and systems were hacked by the strike teams faster than the aliens could respond. Human creativity and adaptability outmatched brute alien logic. Meanwhile, outside, the fleet engaged in tactical maneuvers. Larger human ships simulated attacks to distract alien fleets, while smaller units penetrated weak points in the station's defenses. Explosions flared briefly against shields, but every action was calculated to minimize risk to human lives. Humanity's intelligence, courage, and coordination turned the tide of the battle. Inside the station, strike teams moved swiftly through corridors, guided by sensors and maps of alien systems. They located human captives, still frightened but resilient. Children who had endured weeks of captivity now recognized hope in the faces of their rescuers. Slowly, the doors to the holding areas opened, and humans stepped forward to guide them to safety. "Stay calm," Alina instructed via comm. "You are safe. Humanity is here. We will not leave without you." Automated defenses activated, and patrols converged on key locations. But humans had anticipated these actions. Improvised diversions, clever hacking of security systems, and calculated manipulations of the environment allowed the rescue teams to move efficiently. Every human aboard the mission relied on instinct, intelligence, and courage rather than rigid strategy. As the last captives were escorted into transport modules, Alina oversaw the final phase of the operation. Key systems within the station were disabled, communications jammed, and shields weakened to prevent immediate retaliation. Humanity's purpose was not destruction, it was liberation. Every action, every decision reflected the HFY spirit. Humans protect, humans endure, and humans adapt where others rely on predictability. The retreat was tense. Alien fleets moved to intercept the humans leaving the command station, but the human fleet executed a series of unpredictable maneuvers, weaving through energy corridors and using decoy drones to confuse enemy sensors. Every vessel from the smallest shuttle to the largest capital ship played a role in ensuring the safety of the captives. On the bridge of the Aegis, Alina observed the operation with steady determination. "We are almost clear," she said. "Maintain focus. Humanity protects its own, and no obstacle will stop us now." The aliens were powerful, but they could not predict humans who thought independently, adapted instantly, and acted with courage. Finally, the last shuttle modules carrying human captives disengaged from the station and moved toward the fleet. Cheers erupted across communications channels, not loud but filled with relief, joy, and pride. Humanity had succeeded in its most daring operation yet. Hundreds of children were safe, hundreds of captives were free, and humanity had delivered a message the galaxy would not forget. Alina stood before her officers. "Today, we have done more than rescue. We have shown the universe the strength of human spirit. We protect our own. We adapt. We endure. We triumph because we never abandon those who need us. Humanity is not to be underestimated." Malik nodded. "Commander, the aliens underestimated emotion, creativity, and ingenuity. They believed humans were predictable. They were wrong. Humanity has proven that resilience, intelligence, and unity are powerful weapons. The galaxy has witnessed what humans are capable of, and there is no force that can break our resolve. Every child we save, every colony we protect, strengthens the bond that makes us human. That is our greatest power." Aliens who had once dismissed humans began to approach with caution. Humans had demonstrated intelligence, courage, unity, and adaptability. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a species unwilling to bow, unwilling to submit, and unwilling to abandon its own. On board the Aegis, the rescued children began to recover. Medical teams administered care, comforted the frightened, and provided a sense of security. Slowly, smiles returned to the children's faces, cautious but genuine. Humanity's dedication, bravery, and ingenuity had given them hope and freedom. Alina walked among the children, speaking softly, reassuring them, and witnessing the human spirit in its purest form. She saw resilience, courage, and hope reflected in their eyes. Humanity had not only rescued lives, but had strengthened its own identity as a species capable of extraordinary compassion and ingenuity. The stars stretched endlessly before the fleet, a reminder of the vastness of space, the challenges that remained, and the potential of human life. The Aegis and its fleet had proven that courage, unity, and intelligence could overcome overwhelming odds. Humanity had faced fear, danger, and uncertainty, and had prevailed. Alina addressed her crew one final time. Remember this moment. Remember the courage, the ingenuity, and the resilience that brought us here. Humanity protects its own, adapts to every challenge, and endures against all odds. The galaxy has witnessed our strength today, and we will continue to demonstrate it wherever our people need us. The alien coalition had been humiliated, and the liberated children were living proof of human determination and courage. Humanity had shown that even against a technologically superior enemy, creativity, adaptability, and unity could turn the tide of war. And as Alina looked out at the countless stars, she felt a profound sense of pride. Humanity had risen to meet the greatest challenge it had faced, not through domination or conquest, but through courage, intelligence, and the unshakable commitment to protect its own. The galaxy had witnessed humanity's response, and one truth was clear. Humans were not to be underestimated. They were resilient, adaptable, and united. They were the guardians of their own, and no force in the universe could break that spirit. The children of Typhon 7 and every human freed from captivity were safe. Humanity had triumphed, not through sheer strength alone, but through ingenuity, courage, and the relentless drive to protect life. The mission was complete, the message delivered, and the galaxy had seen what it meant when humans chose to fight for their own. Commander Alina Reyes stood at the bridge of the Aegis, her gaze fixed on the distant stars. She knew that this victory was only the beginning. Humanity would continue to rise, adapt, and protect, leaving a legacy of courage, intelligence, and hope for generations to come. And as the fleet sailed onward, carrying freedom, hope, and human ingenuity across the galaxy, one truth shone brighter than any star. Humanity would never bow, never yield, and never abandon its own. The universe had witnessed the full measure of human spirit, and it would remember it forever.